What is up, and welcome back again to an incredible episode, or at least what I think will be a fantastic episode. So we'll jump straight into it. We're going to be talking about the best businesses, tech businesses you can build in 2020 and 2021 onwards. Clearly, a lot has happened in the past year that has shaped the future of what is going to be software, business, technology, and so what it may be. Now, I'm going to break it down by talking about top 10 industries and business types that you can start that have a pretty high guaranteed statistical success rate of becoming successful. We're using Google Trends, news, VC patents, as well as startups that are actually doing quite well in this day and age as metrics to go ahead and measure if this is going to be the right business for you to take on. So that's going to be the first segment. The second segment is I'm going to go ahead and walk you through some basic principles that you can use to go ahead and build and grow this very own startup that you want to start. And the third thing, and this is going to be a weekly thing that we're going to be doing, is we're going to break down one particular business that you can go ahead and start within 3 weeks. I will break down why you need to start this, the competition, what the first version of your business is going to look like, where you can potentially sell it, and where you can find the people to build this for you if you're not a builder already. So action packed, this is going to be happening every week. Let us start off with the first bit. Okay, so the first one that we're going to talk about, which should not be no surprise at all, is last mile delivery startups. Logistics have completely taken off with e-commerce blowing up in 2020, 2021 onwards. This is just the beginning, and this means there's a massive room and gap that has opened up in terms of how delivery will happen to consumers in the last mile segment. So that opens up a lot of area for you to build technological solutions to solve that problem that is going to be used not only by all these e-commerce businesses, that can be used also by grocery store supply chain businesses, furniture shops, whoever they may be, because the way we're shopping has completely changed. So that is going to be something for you to look into. Now, number two you need to look at is personalization using artificial intelligence. The world is changing in the way we communicate online. Now, since most of the communication, thanks to COVID, is happening online, what we need to do is go ahead and find out how we can go ahead and build a business that will help us communicate at scale with personalization, because that's what the sales model has gone to. So any AI-based business model that helps with personalization at scale, whether that's text-based, video-based, audio-based, will really help. Ironic as it is, we're taking a full circle in the way we consume information. Podcasts are taking over. Video and TV are fantastic. Video is still there, you're watching this video, but podcasts are new hot space, and they will be. They're growing fantastically, as you've seen with the Joe Rogan saga that has happened. So podcast analytic and distribution data is a fantastic SaaS business model to build. Fourth, which is very exciting, that is just it's got so much potential, is no-code tools. I'm a strong believer in knowledge gaps. Knowledge gaps are basically where you can fulfill a gap where it takes a lot of time and effort for that consumer to reach that dedicated destination that they want to achieve, and you expedite that process. No-code tools are a fantastic way to go ahead and help people get the power of programming without necessarily knowing how to code. And trust me, there's a long way for this to go. It's still the beginning, so you've got a lot of space to try find gaps in no-code arenas. This does not need to be a broad spectrum solution. This can be niched down to a certain industry, whether there's websites for churches, design restaurant menus. So you can go really niche in terms of what you're trying to build with no code. The other thing you can look into is educational startups. The way we consume knowledge has changed forever. As we know, universities are still shut down. We do not know how classrooms are going to operate, and people have gotten used to the concept of learning online. Now, this means there's an entire creator network that has basically come online at this point in time, and they need to be catered to. So heaps of ways for you to build businesses that are going to be built just on top of Zoom or any online platform, but you create a gateway to allow them to take money and monetize. And you've seen heaps of companies already get funded north of $3 to $5 million just used based on this particular model. I don't know if you've experienced this, but I certainly have, and productivity definitely does take a dip when you are in the pandemic or you're going through this particular situation, which has seen a massive rise in the need for mental health businesses. Meditation and productivity tools are skyrocketing right now, and they will be 2021, 2022 onwards. That's why you've seen businesses like Calm reach multi-billion-dollar statuses, Headspace and Calm themselves doing incredible record-breaking revenues, and more startups in the meditation space come in. So Productivity startups are a fantastic place to be 2020, 2021 onwards. Okay, and this one will not be a surprise given everything that has happened. Number 7, a fantastic space for you to be in that is still so ripe because there's so many problems that have come up because of what has happened, is remote startups. Companies and HR teams are struggling to find out how to keep their teams motivated and work out how they can actually go ahead and build a culture and economy. Sorry, Bob. By the way, Bob the mic. So how do you go ahead and solve for that? Which opens up a huge arena of problems and ways for you to solve for them. Because of what has happened in the pandemic, there's been a massive rise again in educational want in understanding how the stock market actually operates. This has been seen with lots of people putting in money, Robinhood taking over, Stake in Australia doing really well for itself, and heaps of other businesses that are opening in this particular area in the stock market space. I'm not telling you to go to build a way for people to go and buy stocks, because yes, there's a bit of resistance and work that goes in. But what you can do is build a way for people to get very easily educated into the stock market and use your tool or product as a way to jump into that space, because a lot of beginners are getting into this arena these days. Lo and behold, 2020, 2021 onwards, content and content marketing by far is one of the most successful ways to grow your business beyond performance and paid marketing or whatever it may be. Creating ways for people to go ahead and build content businesses or content marketing engines. If you can build a product that helps with research on SEO, ways to distribute, ways to create content, whatever it may be, you've got a killer business model. I kid you not, and that's something I personally would use as well, because we see content marketing as one of the best ways for you to build authority, distribution, and growth into your business. The last big space for you to look at is building monetization engines for marketplaces for creator networks. Now, with everything that's happening where you've got people creating podcasts, people creating courses, and all these creators coming online, they have a way to build their knowledge and explain it during a course, but they have no way of how to grow and market it. There's ways you can go ahead and connect affiliates to these creators, help them sell it via connecting them with newsletters or distribution networks, podcasts, whatever it may be. So building engines around places that cannot be distributed. For example, with YouTube or TikTok or Instagram, they're in a network where that content can be distributed. But when you build your own product on Teachable or Thinkific, it is not that easy to sell it because there's no network for you to come and buy from. Same happens with podcasts. Unless you sell it, no one's going to come to it. So you need to help these creators distribute their content, and that is a fantastic space to be in, because like I said, the knowledge gap is massive in that area. All right, we're going to be talking about Robert Cialdini's 7 ways of influence that basically help you become a better salesperson or a better way to convince someone to believe in your methodologies, reasonings, what you're selling, and so on and so forth. And this is going to be particularly focused around SaaS. This time around, we're going to be talking about e-commerce, the next step. But for SaaS business or technology businesses, we are going to pick on reciprocity, scarcity, and one more thing that we'll jump into very soon. So let's talk about reciprocity and how reciprocity works in a SaaS business. The easiest way you can use reciprocity to grow your startup is by giving something like a PDF, a free newsletter, or content for free. When you give that, you're essentially driving a layer of emotion within them that they feel like they owe you something. At the same time, you're building authority within them about your product. So if you're doing that stock market business, you can easily send a PDF about how to go ahead and invest $1,000 within a week, or so to speak. So now that can be a great leeway for you to then go ahead and upsell to get them to sign up to your product and give them access to your application. Scarcity is something that we are just born and bred with. It's when it's limited, it's something that we want, and SaaS tools especially do really well with this. You can easily set up a limited discount when you launch initially, so that you can get the first N amount of customers at a certain subscription rate, or maybe on a lifetime deal. That always helps boost sales, and you need that initial set of customers that will help you validate your business, also help you with your initial feature set, and help you grow that particular product. The last thing I want to talk about that I said that was a surprise is social proof. It is how it is. We as human beings are tuned to go ahead and follow the herd to some extent. That's just how society has built it up. But more also at the same time, we people as human beings in general live by example. That's why examples are always thought when we're growing up, because we try to find inspiration through similarity or through stories. So when we see someone like ourselves, humans or whoever may be, using a particular product, that helps us attest or prove that, okay, if this works for them, this will work for me as well. So trying to get social proof in your business early on, however way that may be, whether that's PR, getting your friends who are in a similar space, or getting people, paying people to use your product initially, that's something you want to do, is a great way for you to go ahead and grow your particular business. And surprise, the last segment, which is one of the most exciting segments of this video, is I'm going to hand plate deliver to you a potential $1 million business that you can start as soon as today. And we're going to do this every week on a SaaS and e-commerce level. This week is going to be SaaS. So we're going to be talking about a business called Launch Notes. Launch Notes recently raised around, I think, $3 million, and they're founded by a great set of founders, good company in a crowded space for sure. So one thing I will say, and you'll hear me repeat 1,000 times, is competition is basically product market fit hand delivered to you on a silver plate. So you don't need to worry about finding whether people actually face this problem or if this is something that you need to solve for. Instead, what you need to move your focus towards is from product market fit to product channel fit, i.e. how are you going to go ahead and distribute your product and put a lot of your energy into finding ways that you can build growth into your product, make it product-led growth, so that you can grow your product to distribute in certain channels, and that should be your focus. Now, Launch Notes does come with its competition. Here's some of them that I can just take off from the research that we've done. Some of these are GetBeamer, AnnounceKit, Heatmap, Notion, Trello. They themselves act as great ways for customers to go ahead and talk about their notes or release notes. Now, I actually didn't even jump into what Launch Notes is. Launch Notes is actually a simple product. It helps customers, let's say I'm a customer of Launch Notes, notify my own audience of people what are the new features that have been released since the last time they logged in. Why is this important? This is important because it is a fantastic way for you to go ahead and increase your engagement with your customer base and also improve your lifetime value and retention. What ends up happening is most of the time when people are paying a subscription fee, they go into this mindset thinking they're paying a fee to rent access to their service. But when you showed them that you're actually adding more and more features, you're not only just taking the money to just give them access, but they're getting more than what they paid for initially. The same $30 they paid for 10 months ago is bringing them more value now. Your lifetime value with that customer increases and your retention does at the same time, and so does any activation metric. So this is a big problem people face, and there are clear solutions for that arena. So that's what Launch Note does, and it's got a unique spin to it. Now let's talk about how we can build a similar version and why I think Launch Notes, this arena of notes and release notes, is a fantastic space and an easy win for you to sort of jump at. The problem, as I said, where the thesis behind all of this is that it's a fantastic way to go ahead and activate your customers, activate your audience, increase lifetime value, increase retention. So clearly there's a want and an easy way to sell the messaging of your product. The problem in the current market right now is that it's quite difficult to go ahead and do that yourself manually, which means you are sort of dependent upon third-party tools. The only way you can solve this to go ahead and manually release updates to certain sets of cohorts of customers is to go ahead and get your engineering team to do this for you, which means taking their focus away from the core product and introducing them into something else. That's a problem that we're facing, and we're trying to automate that. Now let's look at some gaps in terms of how competition has built it and how we can solve for that. As you'll see in part of this channel, I'm a massive fan of simple, lovable, complete solutions. I do not like MVPs because people use that as an excuse to go ahead and build a half-beat product, even though that's not what it's meant to be. An MVP is the same thing as an SLC, but it's just a separate terminology and a way to operate. With the SLC, you're building a simple solution that solves one problem that's completely lovable by customers, and it is complete if it has to be complete. You can add new features if you want. So some of the things that I would add to go ahead and build this particular product is things like an admin panel where customers can go ahead and dedicate which audiences of theirs go ahead and have access to certain release notes, analytics that helps them understand which cohort of audiences are more attractive to certain sets of features and who are not attractive to certain sets of features, an ability to go ahead and upvote and downvote on certain features that have been released that helps you understand which cohort likes what and which cohort does not like what. The other thing you can do is also add a way, or maybe artificial intelligence approach, where you can track behavior, understand when your customer is most likely to churn, and as a result show launch notes at that point, or release features at that point, i.e. you're basically triggering them at the point of lowest outcome, i.e. they're going to go ahead and convert and become activated again, or you can also trigger them when they sign up straight to the application or when they log in after some time. That is a great way for you to keep your audience engaged, and these analytics will help you and the marketing team decide who to target, who to attack, what features to build, what features not to build. So that is something I would focus on. The other thing we're going to be talking about is how do we create unique bragging propositions. This is talked about fairly well by Kunal Shah, and we'll dive into it another day. But unique bragging propositions basically refines the concept of unique value propositions, where there's value provided to a customer, which is a given coherent thing that you have to do. Virality and contagiousness in anything usually comes from the concept of importance as human beings, i.e. we usually spread something that makes us feel important to someone else, whether we educate our friends and family, we share knowledge that improves their lives, but also improves our social status and importance. As much as you don't agree with it, that is actually true. What you want to do is build unique bragging propositions into your product and understand how you can create bragging propositions within your solution that will help your customers spread your product for you. And one of the things you can do with a solution like this is integrate into your particular product Stripe or whatever payment gateway you've got, because then what you can do is actually go ahead and see what type of analysis and pieces of data you can get from Stripe with respect to the customer who's attractive to a certain feature or not attractive to a certain feature. Let's say you release a new feature for your stock application and you realize that the cohort of audiences that are upvoting or downvoting come from different segments of revenue, right? So maybe you're getting downvotes from a certain segment of users, and maybe you got 400 downvotes from segments of users that are only paying you $9 a month, but you're getting upwards of maybe 300 upvotes from segments of users that are on the pro plan, paying you $99 a month. And by integrating with Stripe, now you're no longer just looking on a cohort level that is just based upon some metadata you have on your customer base, but integrating them with your revenue metrics, you now start to understand how to value features, which customers are valuing what by what. So then you can decide which segment of customers you want to focus on and serve better or serve less. So that would be one of the unique bragging propositions I would add to this particular solution. And lastly, I want to break down why I chose this product in particular, because there's always a reason, there's always thesis, there's always logic and data behind this. There's intuition as well, but there's a lot of reason behind why we choose a particular product. One of them is they are inherently distributed solutions. That means every single customer of yours, their customer is exposed to your product, eventually making them your customer. It is not an invisible solution or invisible product. It self-distributes, i.e. your coefficient of virality is greater than 1. Second thing, most of these competitions that you've got, they're VC backed. Now you might think, why is that a good thing? Why is that actually a good thing? Because they're going to screw you on price. No, they're not, because most of the time VCs want their money back. They will go ahead and chime down the price in the initial days, but eventually every VC wants to make capital and revenue and money, so they will jack up the prices to a point where you use that as your advantage because you've got low OPEX. Oops, sorry Bob. You got low OPEX, and at that point in time you can cut them down on price. Never go to the bottom of the barrel. That's not a good way to build a business, but that is something you can look at. Third thing is these trends are picking up. People are building SaaS businesses every single day, and they're looking for ways to go ahead and increase their revenue. Any business that will help pay its subscription itself is a great way to go ahead and just offset the cost for that audience and let them know that, yes, I'm charging you $29 a month or $49 a month for subscription, but look at how much your LTV has increased as a result of us. You've basically paid off your entire fee, making the app basically free and profitable for you from day dot. The other thing is you can actually build your SLC in less than 3 weeks if you're a developer. If not, you can hire someone to do that for you. So that's something that is to consider, because most of the SLCs I'm going to talk to you about in the future as well, less than 3 weeks, maybe 3 weeks, maximum 4 to build out the first version. Awesome. Well, that is all for this particular episode. I'm very excited to be back on YouTube and pushing these content pieces out. You can expect a video from me guaranteed every week moving ahead, where we're going to be talking about a similar sort of structure where we will break down business ideas that you can build from scratch, $1 million, $1 billion businesses, hand delivered to you with everything, thesis, research, work done on the platter for you to action. We'll also go through growth strategies and ways to build your business and what your MVP will consist of as well. I will see you next week for the e-commerce approach in terms of what businesses and trends for you to focus on in 2021, and then so on and so forth. If you've liked this video, I would absolutely love if you could go ahead and click on that like button, subscribe, because it helps spread this channel, it helps spread the good vibe, and also helps other people understand what you can do in terms of building a business. So thank you so much again, and I look forward to seeing you. By the way, if you got anything that you'd like to share, comment section below is a fantastic place for me to learn what exactly you're looking to figure out next. Thank you and have a great day.